China and Romania celebrate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic relations.
Hospitality of Romanian people to me, to a representative of Chinese people. And they say that Chinese people, sisters and brothers.
And then the only country which followed the same path, which objectively became an ally of China, was Romania.
That gave me the possibility to see from outside how China is moving ahead.
Se numește Istoria Chinei și a civilizației chineze, România și China. Este un proiect mai amplu pe care l-am realizat împreună cu Ion Buzatu, vorbitor de limbă chineză. Este o carte care prezintă istoria Chinei, istoria civilizației chineze, istoria artei și sunt peste 700 de ilustrații de acest gen care arată diverse momente, diverse lucrări, diverse aspecte legate de istoria sau de cultura chineză. Dar cartea nu este doar o prezentare a lucrurilor extraordinare din civilizația chineză, este și o prezentare inedită.
Actually, I think if you want to know something about China and Romania, you just read the book.
Yeah. And have very nice pictures.
You have mentioned I think this good memory about China and Romania. What is your take on what we call culture shock? Because to improve cooperation in any area, we need to know each other, to comprehend each other. And I will start with Mrs. Wang, because you work to people level and the culture front. So what is your take on that?
Concerning this question, I thought actually, since I have been in European countries for many years, so I always try to avoid using this cultural shock.
Yeah, maybe I should avoid
expression
using that too.
Because I was very curious about different cultures, and I always try to tell the students to respect a different culture and different things which you will find that it's quite strange, but you should try to figure out what happened and why it is different from the Chinese culture. So if you want to ask me what is the most important things that I have found in Romania, which is quite different from China, I think it might be the enthusiasm into another culture, that is the Chinese culture. Because for my Confucius Institute, there are about 4,000 new students every year trying to enroll in the Chinese classes. And that is a shock for me. It is not a culture shock, but it is a shock for me. So that makes me think more about why the Romanian students are so interested. Not yet, but I was still trying to study more. This is really something that I'm quite interested in.
But they're first interested about, I don't know, the culture, the language, the habits, the anthropological...
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
If you will put on a list, which will be the first point of interest?
I think because most
to learn,
of our...
to write in ideograms?
I think it is to write.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is the most difficult part, but it also makes the students trying to figure out the way how to just try to get it better.
I have my cultural shock about this.
Yes.
Can I put it in a few seconds?
Yeah, of course.
When I was the first time invited in China, the embassy gave me a plate with my name and my colleague name written in Chinese, just to keep it in the airport, to pick me up somebody from the Chinese delegation who have to meet with. And I wait with the plate for minutes, nobody came to me to pick me. The hall was almost empty. And at the end, two Chinese came to me and say, Mr. Russo, yeah, keep it like this because it feels vice versa. So
Vice versa.
I didn't know which was the high and the top of the plate. So this is my cultural shock.
That is
It's
Mr.
great
Roman?
fun.
Yes. You know, last year I received a gift, a book, written by an important Chinese philosopher today, which is about the Chinese philosophy from the modern perspective. It's a very, very interesting book. And I've seen there something which is very important to note, that some of the most important, let's say, famous concepts and principles of the Chinese philosophy, Confucianism, Taoism, and many other philosophers, you can find, the philosopher found that they are almost the same as some of the concepts advanced by the greatest European philosophers like Kant, Hegel, or Bergson. So that shock is not as much shock as one can believe. Fundamentally, there are some essential concepts which are the same. That is absolutely significant from the point of view of understanding what brings us together as humans. And this point is pointing, I think, very positively in the sense of the Chinese diplomacy, international diplomacy today, which is precisely our common destiny.
And you have written something just like the Chinese president to say the community of shared future, something alike, right?
Right, right. It is indeed important, and more people all over the world are very active about that we have a common destiny.
To improve cooperation in any area, we need to know each other, to comprehend each other.
Okay. And then my director, Professor Konstantin Abdan, said, do you know what is beziv? In Romania? Drunken. Yeah.
The best toys of our childhood came from China.
We should move quickly in that direction, and that is very beneficial to both.
For the businessmen coming from China, it became much easier. There are nevertheless differences, and sometimes important differences between the two cultural models. There are two different cultural models, it's true. And it's all the time amazing to discover on the other side important parts of how the others, in this case the Chinese, are thinking, are reacting, are taking action, they're exposing their feelings. You know, the Chinese, when you see them also at the official level, they are very, let's say, they have a sober attitude, they manage their feelings and so on. On our side, as Romanians, we are much more visible, emotional. We are Latin. We are, let's say, showing much easier our internal feelings. When you become friends, you discover something which is inside, which is slightly different. So on the cultural model, for instance, it was extremely interesting for us and important for me as a politician, high-ranking official at the time, to discover how you are managing the politeness, how the Chinese are polite, how they are expressing their politeness. And it was extremely interesting to learn from that. Of course, there are also the official moments which are less official. I mean, the lunch, the dinner during the official visits. At that time, of course, it's all the time that symbolic moment when you raise the glass and the Chinese high-ranking official is greeting you as an official delegation saying, "Kanbei." We had a number of years, and myself, I had a problem. Which was not a big problem, but I had a problem because Kanbei in Romania it means you drink too much. And when someone is saying you Cambay, you drink too much, of course, the first Latin reaction is to smile and say, it's not true, I'm not drinking too much. Now,
just
this
the
is a half joke, half serious. And we all the time had to explain to our official Chinese friends that it's not being impolite when if you see a smile on our face, because the meaning was in Romania, Romanian was the following: you drink too much, which was not the case. But definitely you should learn how to manage and to discover the other cultural specificity and to respect it. And it worked.
There is a nice anecdote about that. It was during, in the 50s, late 50s, when during an official visit of the leader of Romania at the time, Gheorghe Udej, in China, there was the official lunch or dinner, and at some point Chairman Mao said Cambay, and our leader Gheorghe Udej said, you see, Chairman Mao is speaking Romanian.
He's so good that he already speaks Romanian.
This is really
if
very
you're-
interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, because our we have the Confucius Institute has a director, Romanian director. The director of our Confucius Institute gave me a good example of this too. In Chinese, this is 杯子, the glass, 杯子. And then my director, Professor Constantin Oplean, he said, do you know what is beziv?
Beziv.
In Romania?
Drunken.
Drunken. Yes. So this is why I remember how to say that in Chinese, 杯子. So it's really very interesting.
If you allow me just briefly to come back to how to be polite. We have appreciated during different official meetings the very sophisticated manner of doing things from the Chinese side, and of course we try to do the same on our side. I was extremely impressed at a certain moment when I accompanied, as a foreign minister at that time, my prime minister, Mr. Ponta, at that time in Beijing, when we have been received by President Xi Jinping. He started making reference to old, beautiful, and known in China Romanian movies.
Yeah.
And he mentioned Dunăre Albastră, he mentioned many other things and many other songs, old, beautiful folk songs and so on. And we were extremely touched, honestly, at the level of the President of the Republic, Social Republic of China, Popular Republic of China, to see that these are mentioned at the level of President. It was really impressive for us. And the memory, especially at the let's say, elder generation is true, maybe not anymore to the younger generation, of the friendship with Romania and the old cultural items of Romania being present in China that were appreciated at the time.
And all the toys of our childhood,
Yeah.
the best toys of our childhood came from China.
Yeah,
And I still have some of them.
I had a lot of these
I have
toys.
a museum
Yes.
with a lot of Chinese toys already.
Yeah. To improve cooperation in any area, we need to know each other, to comprehend each other.
Base. And then my director, Professor Constantin Oplean, he said, do you know what is beziv?
Beziv.
In Romania?
Drunken.
Drunken. Yes.
The best toys of our childhood came from China.
We should move quickly in that direction, and that is very beneficial to both.
For the businessmen coming from China, it became much easier.
Yeah, as I understood, as you have already mentioned, that we just should manage to understand the little things and trying to comprehend each other instead of opposing each other's culture. And I think it's when we look at the perspective of the cooperation, and now, like we have seen, there's important project like One Belt and One Road initiative and other projects. So what is your take on the future development of China and Romanian cooperation? I will start with Mr.
Yes. Romania is already a signatory of the framework 16+1, which is related to the Belt and Road Initiative of President Xi Jinping. Personally, I think it could be an excellent opportunity. For the time being, there is no yet one concrete project to be introduced like in other countries, like other countries already have done that in Europe. Even if there are some interrogations, I'm absolutely convinced that there is always a framework, a kind of contract which can be established in order to avoid any kind of, let's say, inappropriate situations. And the presence of the Chinese investment is welcomed. I am specifically thinking in the sector of the energy, notably. It's been a discussion, it's been a talk about extending the nuclear power plant in Chernavoda. There are 2 units already functioning. The first one, it was done when I was Prime Minister. The units 3 and 4 should be completed, and the Chinese are interested in that within the framework of the Belt and Road. So again, I think that this initiative is a new kind of projecting investments in every place in the world. It's already functioning in many places. And secondly, this can be done. This can be done, even if Romania is a member of the European Union, because those terms of the agreement, when you start, those terms of the contract, when you start such kind of project, can be met in order to, in the meantime, respect every other engagement of the country, especially of Romania. I think we should move quickly in that direction, and that is very beneficial to both, to Romania, of course, and to China also.
Acum, China a devenit foarte mare, a crescut foarte mult și relația Chinei se face în zona noastră pe formatul 17+1. 17 sunt țările din Europa Centrală și de Est. Unul este China, care vine din când în când prin premierul ei și se întâlnește cu cei 17 în diferite capitale. Deci China acum tratează această zonă, nu sună foarte bine, în vrac. Ei sunt împreună. Proiectele sunt mult mai greu de realizat. Sensibilitatea politică este mult mai mică. Și de aceea există un debalans din punctul de vedere, un dezechilibru în ceea ce privește relațiile economice, fluxurile economice. Deci sunt multe lucruri pe care ar trebui realizate. Dacă putem să capitalizăm în continuare pe relația politică deosebită, poate vom reuși cândva să relansăm și relația economică.
To improve cooperation in any area, we need to know each other, to comprehend each other.
Okay. And then my director, Professor Constantin Oplean, said, do you know what is beziv? In Romania?
Drunken.
Drunken. Yes.
The best toys of our childhood came from China.
We should move quickly in that direction, and that is very beneficial to both.
For the businessmen coming from China, it became much easier. Politics and economics go hand in hand. You know that last year the level of trade on both sides, it was around or a little bit more than $6 billion, which for Romania, as a small country, is significant. For China, it's almost nothing. 6 billion, 5 billion, which is export and economic presence of China in Romania. 1 billion, it's Romanian exporting in China, or around 1 billion. That means there is a deficit on the trade connection between Romania and China, and definitely Romania should do more, having, let's say, the cooperation of the Chinese authorities. I will tell you a small story. In October 2014, I was invited officially to visit China just before the Congress of the party, of the Communist Party. It was an important moment for China, the next generation of leaders, and for us it was important to succeed to make the connection with people from the next generation of leaders. And I had the privilege to meet at that time Deputy Prime Minister Li Keqiang, that after the Congress became the Prime Minister. And the discussion was, among some other important topics, a future visit of the future Prime Minister of China in Romania and the economic dimension. The visits took place in 2013 in Bucharest, in the margin of the 1+16 frame China cooperation with the Central Eastern European countries. Some time ago it became 1+17, another Balkanic country joined this initiative. And it was discussed a number of projects, inter alia on infrastructure, you have mentioned energy, and so on. So we have a frame, and we should put some substance in this frame and to accelerate. And last but not least, I want to mention a dimension which is important for both China and Romania, which is tourism. Mm-hmm. There are Romanian tourists visiting China to discover its wonderful beauties. But I saw on the reports that last year, if I'm not wrong, only 33,000 Chinese tourists visited Romania, which is a low level.
Maybe because also we didn't manage to put back the direct flight from Bucharest to Beijing.
It's true, we didn't have yet a direct flight anymore, but it's also related to the procedure of visas. If you allow me to finish this, because it's important. Romania is not in a very simple situation, because we are members of EU, but we are not yet members of the Schengen area. That means there is most of the countries, not all EU member states, they are members of the Schengen area, and free movement without border controls and so on. So we are still kept by some, let's say, rules being outside the Schengen area. What we did in 2013 as a foreign minister, that I proposed to the government to facilitate and to, let's say, raise some obstacles, first of all, for the businessmen coming from China. It became much easier. Secondly, sometimes after that, also to facilitate the procedure for the visas for the tourists coming from China.
Also for the students,
we should do more, because the Chinese, of course, are attracted. I discussed it with a number of Chinese friends. They are attracted by the beauties of Romania. It's not only Paris or London in this Europe, it's also Romania, which has an important number of beauties. We should do more on this topic.
Yeah, I will leave the last to you. I mean, he mentioned the people-to-people's contact may be the most direct thing, so what do you think, the perspective?
I think the Belt and Road Initiative has really brought quite a lot of opportunities. Especially for the mutual understanding of both Romanian people and Chinese people, and deepen the cooperation between the two countries. This year, the president of our university, my university, Beijing Language and Culture University, Vice President Zhang Baojing has led the delegation to visit Romania again, and BLCU has set up the first Confucius Institute in Romania. And the second, the independent Confucius classroom has been set up again in Constanța. So the two sides are deepen the relationship and also the cooperation on the university level. And last year, the president of Sibiu County, President Champel, she has led the delegation to visit Yangzhou, Nanjing, and trying to build up the relationship the sister relationship between Gaoyou, the city of Gaoyou, and also the Midiash city in Sibiu County. And she's also trying to help building the sister relationship between Yangzhou and Sibiu city as well. At the same time, we are trying to build up we are trying to promote the traditional Chinese medicine program in Sibiu as well. And this year we have held the first international TCM meeting in Sibiu. So all these are brought by this Belt and Road initiative. So it's really a wonderful move.
So this is great that it's a step forward in each field, and
Yes.
yours is the first one, is the first line of the sharing experiences.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we don't have much time left,
Unfortunately.
so we should wrap
For
up
70
the
years we
show.
have so much things to tell. So
Next time you should come to China and we'll do
yeah,
something
we're gonna do
together
it.
again.
Yeah, but before 80 years of diplomatic relationship.
Okay, and thank you again for all the guests for your precious time. And thank you for watching our show, and I will see you next time. China and Romania celebrate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of their diplomatic relations.
Hospitality of Romanian people to me, to representative of Chinese people. And they say that Chinese people, sisters and brothers.
And then the only country which followed the same path, which objectively became an ally of China, was Romania.
That gave me the possibility to see from outside how China is moving ahead.